In a historic day of action, more than 1 million students from over 3,000 schools walked out of classes across the country and around the world to protest gun violence.
Students at more than 3,000 schools across the country will walk out of their classes this morning to protest gun violence.
Thousands of schools all across the country leaving class to demand action on gun control.
Fashion industries, and we're here protesting gun violence all across America. Guns don't solve problems, they create problems, and obviously, as you can see, we all feel strongly about this. This is something that's been going on for far too long, and if adults aren't going to take action, we need to take action.
I go to the high school fashion industry. We're protesting to disarm the NRA and the mass school shootings that has happened across the country. It has to end now, and it starts with every school protesting. And we are here today to stop this shooting. Today, every school should walk out right now and go and protest.
I go to the high school fashion industries, and today we're here to protest against what happened at Parkland. We're here to stop gun violence in schools and everywhere.
I'm a student, not a target.
I'm a student, not a target.
I'm a student, not a target.
Today's National School Walkout was a great moment in the history of the high school fashion industries. It was great to see HSFI students so engaged to a cause, and obviously rightfully so, considering it affects them and the safety of them. So it was just beautiful to see. I love the signs, I love the chants, I love so many students participated, and I was almost like a proud father today.
Up until recently, I never paid attention to privilege unless it was affecting me negatively. Like being told I couldn't model for a fashion show because I was too dark, or that I couldn't help out with heavy lifting because it was a man's job, and my female qualities were too weak for me to participate. I only observed privilege when it was white or male, disadvantaging me one way or another. Being this African American female, or a double minority as some Facebook would refer to it as, I unknowingly shrugged off the privilege I never realized I had to further dehumanize myself more than I was allowing others to do so. I was too dark to be in an all-white fashion show, but I ignored the fact that I was the perfect model for a show that only featured light-skinned and or multiracial people and rudely dismissed those darker than me at the door. I got mad at my family for always trying to tell me that my little brother was much stronger than I am because he was a boy. But I didn't get mad upon learning that only males had to sign up for the draft when they turned 18. It also bothered me that the major I was applying to for college was the only major at that school that required a portfolio for acceptance. But I didn't get emotional at the fact that I was attending the only high school in the US that focused on the major I was applying for. I had all these privileges that benefited me one way or another, and I completely ignored them just so I could feel sorry for myself, not knowing that there were people who had it way worse than me. Privilege isn't something that can be stopped. It's become a natural phenomenon in our society. Not everyone will recognize they have it, and that's okay. It becomes a problem when you realize you do have privilege and see what it does to others who don't have it, but refuse to recognize it and allow it to detriment someone else's value.
What would you like to do if money were no object? How would you really enjoy spending your life? Well, it's so amazing. As a result of our kind of educational system, crowds of students say, well, we'd like to be painters, we'd like to be poets, we'd like to be writers, but as everybody knows, you can't earn any money that way. Or another person says, well, I'd like to live an out-of-doors life and ride horses. I said, do you want to teach in a riding school? Let's go through with it. What do you want to do? When we finally got down to something which the individual says he really wants to do, I will say to him, you do that. And forget the money. Because if you say that getting the money is the most important thing, you will spend your life completely wasting your time. You'll be doing things you don't like doing in order to go on living, that is, to go on doing things you don't like doing, which is stupid. Better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way. And after all, if you do really like what you're doing, it doesn't matter what it is, you can eventually turn it, you could eventually become a master of it. It's the only way to become a master of something, to be really with it. And then you'll be able to get a good fee for whatever it is. So don't worry too much. Somebody's interested in everything. And anything you can be interested in, you'll find others who are. But it's absolutely stupid to spend your time doing things you don't like in order to go on spending things you don't like, doing things you don't like, and to teach your children to follow in the same track.
Have you witnessed sexual harassment?
It wasn't really like someone else. It was just kind of
like getting molested, touching.
At what age did you realize that you were starting to be sexualized?
13.
I don't know. I'm only 12.
It's kind of somebody that comes to my house and he looks at me some type of way,
and then like just touches you.
I think that a lot of people don't even realize what sexual harassment is because I don't think they necessarily define it as street harassment. It's just like, well, what's wrong with going up to a woman and asking for her phone number, even though you don't even know her or you've never met her? You know, a lot of men think that that's okay.
How often have you been street harassed?
I think all days. When I go to my home, to the market with my brother, they still looking at me and don't feel comfortable. I have to cross the street because I don't feel fine.
What is your definition of sexual harassment?
When some stranger inappropriately touches someone without permission, I think that's totally disgusting.
When someone won't leave you alone.
Or sexually touch you without you giving them an consent.
When a person physically or verbally says something that the other person feels uncomfortable with.
Do you think sexual harassment is a big problem?
Oh, a huge problem, truly.
Definitely, it is a big problem, and everywhere we go, we see sexual harassment. We might not want to say it, but like it is there. It is there.
Have you ever been sexually harassed?
Yes. No, but yeah.
No.
It happened in junior high school, and we had certain seats that had the spaces in between, on the bottom where the butt is, and some kids stuck a ruler up my behind, so to speak, and in between classes, I kicked him inappropriately, and I got suspended. A boy was playing twang with my bra, and I did the same thing, and I got suspended.
Yeah, it was like my middle school, my lower school. I saw teachers like touching students that the students didn't feel comfortable. Like I didn't feel comfortable talking about it, but like I saw it. Yeah.
When someone is sexually harassing you and you give them a reason to like leave you alone and they're just badgering you about it, every single day you have to find a different route, and I constantly have to do that every single day, and I constantly tell my boyfriend, the reason I take so long to come to you is because I have to find a different route, because everybody's constantly looking at us.
I mean, I guess if you have a lot of money, you have the power to like, essentially harass somebody. So normally it's always happening to people that's less fortunate, so it's kind of very serious. I mean, that's the reason why she came to America.
Yes. Sorry, Russia.
Yeah, she went through an experience back there and she had to come here.
I just want to get your number. I don't know where you're coming from. I see you have the wedding band, but I'm the wedding man, you know. Let me get your number. You're not going to give it to me?
What do you think keeps victims from speaking to you?
They're embarrassed.
They're afraid.
It is the embarrassment they might face, and it's not something that like once you say it, you can't take it back, right? So it will always be with you. So that's something you have to live with. So that's something that might keep them from saying.
Do you think men can be victims of sexual harassment?
Probably, sure.
Yeah, I saw it in the Good Morning America. You know that big guy? Yeah, he was saying he was being sexually harassed. And I couldn't even imagine. This dude is big as, like, but it's interesting.
I mean, I haven't experienced myself, but I can definitely tell from my knowledge it is a problem. It doesn't have to be woman to male, but it could be male harassment to another male. So I think it is definitely a problem.
At what age did you realize you were starting to be sexualized?
12.
5.
I think I was 11.
I was a young woman, and we used to ride the elevated train going up to the Bronx on 3rd Avenue and 1st Avenue, and we'd have these guys who just expose themselves. I was like a 5-year-old, and it happened like at every train ride. It was ridiculous.
We started out making a video about sexual harassment, and we ended up hearing people as young as 12 talk about their experiences with sexual assault.
What we realized is that there was a fine line between the two.
I think street harassment is really about, I think it is on a spectrum of gender-based violence. So at one end of that spectrum can be things like, gestures or verbal comments, and the other end of that spectrum is much more severe things like rape.
We believe that now, as more and more women are coming out against their predators, we can finally see a change.
My bad, bro. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yo, you forgot your pen.
What are you doing? You can't rap.
Who is that?
You listen to a Lil Uzi song one time and think you can spit all of a sudden.
No, seriously, who is that? Oh my god.
You're just a SoundCloud rapper. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I can't do this anymore. I have to use the bathroom.
Why are we out here when you could be at home writing more trash lyrics? Don't you want to go see how many times you viewed your own SoundCloud upload? No wonder it takes you forever in a day to write one line. Excuse me. That's my pen. My favorite pen. I've been searching for that everywhere.
It was you!